Hi everyone and welcome to today's stream. I don't know how long this is going to be, so bear with me please. Today I'm going to be working on the image of these two violinists in Copic markers, at least that's the plan. So what I've done to start with is I've taken my photos, which I took a little while ago, and I've gone through my Copics and tried to find matches to colours within the images. These aren't 100% because I'm not going for 100% accuracy today. So I've mapped out all my colours. I'm happy roughly with what I've got. I'll be adding colours in as we go. And once I'm happy with that, that's when I can get all my pens together, which is quite a few, and start working. So I've done a very rough outline in pencil. I didn't want too much detail at this stage because the pen's are going to go over it, and then I can add more detail on the top in pen if I really want to. So off we go. And today I'm going to be looking at not 100% realism, as I say. It's just going to be semi-realistic, quite loose work. Just trying to do something different for a change, because everybody's into fluffy things right now, so I'm looking for a niche in the market, so go try this. Right, off we go. Good thing about Copics is you can work from light to dark or dark to light. It just depends on your speed and style. So I'm very cramped in here today. As you can see, I've not actually lined out all of the lines on the dress. I'm going to be doing that by eye. So it'll be a case of where I believe it is in relation, because that way I can get the image quite loose. If I have all the lines in there, I think it's going to be a bit too tight on the detail. So as you can see right now, I'm literally just using 2 pens, and as the pen dries on the paper, I'm going over with the same colour, and this is adding to a layering effect. And the drier it gets, then the more effect the next layer will have on it. But I just want this to blend quite smoothly right now. In fact, I'll make a change here. My printer hasn't printed out the correct colours, so it hasn't been able to match what I see in the photo. So right now it's a case of manipulating and building in colours that I believe would suit it better. And the good thing with Copics is that you can pretty much get a 90% match with most colours. You might have to do a bit of mixing and such, but it is possible. Let's see when that mixes. I won't be using a solid black in this image either. I'm hoping to make that up out of all of the other colours that I've got. So it's all about layers, like cake. Right, so this next bit, I'm going to do in a solid colour and then come through with gold pen and metallics to pull in the detail of the dress. So what you might notice is quite a lot of time I open the chisel end, close it, and then open the bullet tin, which I'm going to use, or the opposite way around. This is because the pens do get a lot of pressure inside, and if they've been resting a while and if you don't release the pressure one end, it'll just spurt the ink out the other and you end up with a splatter or a leak. So I always tend to just open one end, release the pressure, then I can open the other end and it shouldn't have any problems. Right, next I'm going to go on to the jacket. In the photograph, see if I can line this up, you can see that there's a lot of embroidery in the back of the jacket. I'm not even going to try and do that because, like I say, I am trying to simplify this image. As you can see, the colours are slightly different, but this is because I'm working more off the screen copy than the actual physical photo I've got in front of me. So on we go. So what I'm doing is, even though the coat is a pinky purpley colour, it's actually got a lot of bleached out effects on it. So I'm putting an undercoat of ivory down first, which means that I can keep my highlights the colour that I want to keep them. I could leave them white, but then that means having to resaturate those areas. So now what I'm going to do, because that's pretty much the coat done, is I've just got a Sharpie's white and I'm just going to make a couple of tiny marks on areas where there are key highlights, which should help give the jacket, which I believe was a type of leather, just add a little bit of shine to it, which it did have on the day. And it's just pulling up some of the highlights and the folds in the material. Now that some of the colours have actually dried up a bit, I'm just going over a few of them with some of the darker parts of them. Same colours that I've used within the image, but it's just to make these shadows pop out a little bit more. So it's just fine tuning some of the shadows and highlights now. Whereas if I was doing this on wet ink, it would be blending in and you would lose the strength of the shadows. Yeah, this is yes, just to say this is me doing less detail work. Yes, seriously, less detail work. I am trying to be looser in my style, but I kind of get sucked in. I love detail. I don't know why. I can't even do detail, but I still love it and I still try. Um, but I am still trying to get looser. So hopefully I'll loosen up maybe a bit more on the other one. With the reds that I'm using for the band piece of the hat, you'll notice I use some of them within the jacket itself. This is so that I've got the colour going throughout the drawing and that it should make the red look less kind of garish and out of place. Well, at least that's the theory. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just come through very carefully with just a normal rubber. I normally would use a silicone mono eraser for this, but I seem to have misplaced it slightly. And I'm just going to take out a few of the lines where I indicated where the hair was. It's because the skin colours are so pale, I don't want the pencil lines to be too strong on them. And just brush that away. So I'm just pushing through extremely light colours like E quadruple 0. These probably won't show up, and I don't know if they'll show up properly on printing and copying this image, making it in cards, mugs and whatnot. But the idea is that when you look at the original, you will see the silvery strands of hair just floating. It also adds as a blender. Sadly, most of the pens that I would use for this sort of coloured hair, I've actually dried up. I'm still saving to buy the refills. That's the thing. Copics, yeah, they can cost. At the end of the day, it is not a cheap pen. But, yeah, my E31 is definitely dried. Right, that's a priority one. The thing is, you are paying for such high quality. I do use the Spectrum Noir markers, but as you can see, I've not used them in this image because I want the subtlety. I don't want the big, bold, bright colours. I want the subtle, gentle, almost translucent, opaque watercolour colours that you get with Copics. Yes, in Copic you can get bright colours if you want them, if that's your palette. That's absolutely cool. But for realism and work where you want to try and match to a degree the coloration that you're seeing, that you want it to be a believable image, the Copics just shine like something else. I would certainly recommend them if you're gonna really go for it. Then definitely have a go, get a few, but try and get a set of three matching colours, three of the same colour in the same kind of area. So you could go for W0, W3 and W7. Those are all blendables. Mind you, as you can see, Copics blend beautifully anyway, but that is a group that would complement each other and you would get some really good tonal variation just with those three pens. So yeah, if you are serious about learning how to use markers, then please definitely consider Copics. There is also an accreditation course, a European accreditation course, that you can go on. I'm not too sure how many teachers there are for it. It's not yet available online, but there are plans for it to be online. So for people like myself who can't travel over to Germany or America or around the country to do the courses, that would be brilliant. But I have been on one course and it was really good, really intuitive, informative and very helpful. And I came away feeling much more confident on using the pens. So instead of just doing general colouring in with them, I started to experiment and have a go at all the different techniques that I've been shown on the course, and it has helped dramatically. I mean, I've now got about 100 Copics, and I just love them dearly. And the nice thing is with Copics, the colour you get in the pen 99% of the time matches the lid. So you don't have to do a colour chart. I do out of habit, just to also check the pen hasn't dried up and to make sure it is 100% match. But I could put that on a drawing and know, just that lid, that I'm pretty near to a colour match, or it's the colour that I want to go for. I found with the Spectrum Noir, sadly, they've not got that side of things, so you have to do a colour chart with the Spectrums. Otherwise, if you rely on the lids, you get a bit of a surprise. But for bold colours, definitely the Spectrum are a good starter marker, I'll give them that. Or the Pro markers, that's what I started with years ago, with some Pro markers. I shall not do too much detail. I should not do too much detail. Yeah, like that's gonna happen. Also, something I will say about the Copics is the nib, this lovely little brush nib. I don't know if you can see that. In fact, hang on. The level of detail with the brush nib is fantastic. Camera focus, camera. Don't know if you can see that one dark line. That is a seriously weeny, skinny, winny line. And that's all because of the type of pressure applied with the marker. Right, now I've got to line this back up. There we go, I think. But you can really go fine detail with these. And it's just about where you hold the pen and how much pressure you apply to the paper. just to clear up something, if any of you guys are wondering how you get this bronzy, coppery, metallic-y thingy-mabobby colour, and you're not sure how to even start on that, I would say start with light colours, even skin tones. But if you really, really want to see what colour you're trying to match, pardon the light shaking, take a piece of paper or card preferably, e.g. find a hole punch and punch a hole in it. Now this time I don't actually have a hole punch, so I'll punch it with a paper pencil. So you're looking to create a hole punchy hole. So it's very, very rough. Doesn't matter how small it is, in fact in a sense if it's smaller it's better. Take said hole, find your image and put said hole over the image where you are looking to colour match. So just make the hole a little bit bigger. Like I said, if you do this with a hole punch it's much easier. I'm just doing this for quickness. Right, so you take your hole and there's your colour. You don't have to worry about any detail. You can say, oh, that's cream, and that's what I'll match. So you come up to this bit up here. It pinpoints your detail in brilliantly, and you can immediately say, that's a reddish brown, or that needs a hint of pink in it. And so for metallics, or anything that's shiny, this is something that I will do quite often, is to literally get a hole and look through the hole. So I can see straight away, that's a reddish brown, cream, grey, dark brown. Everything matches up, and it means that you're not looking at the whole image and trying to pick out every single colour straight off. You're literally concentrating just on that piece that you need to concentrate on. So that's my handy hint of the day, on the whole. So in this case, instead of using the blender to blend the colours together, I'm using the W0 to just soften up all of the lines, and then I can come in with the next layer. Okay, so that's, I would say, 90% of the image done. The only thing I'm not overly happy right now with is the green skirt. So what I'm going to do is, now that that ink has dried right into the paper, I'm going to start going over and pushing the shadow and the highlights. See, whereas before it was blending in and gave us a smooth colour, now I'm going to add the extra layer on top, which will be stronger, and then I've got to blend that out into it. I've also got to just do the highlights in the whites as well. So what I've just done there is, because the pictures are both showing a slight orange tinge to the skirt, but I don't want to add orange and overdo it or do this wrong, I've added a very light skin tone called E11, and that is just in place in the lightest areas so that it does have more of the kind of orangey tinge to it, which the photo and the image of my screen both show. The only thing I need to do is make an adjustment to her face. The face is not quite as I would like it, so I've just got to find an E number which would suit her skin tone, or possibly a YR. And now for the shadows on the white parts of the dress, which are going to be done in an ivory colour and also a very, very, very light white grey. So warm grey, should I say. I'm using the chisel edge of the pen for this, and it works brilliantly because you can get those straight lines without any problem. So there we go. I think that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to leave it overnight, see what happens to the colours, which could change as they dry. Copics normally dry very, very, very quickly, but I prefer to leave them overnight so that the colours completely kind of set into what they're going to be, and then tomorrow I can go over and add any extra detail if needed in certain areas. So thank you very much for watching me do this one. I'm probably going to do the other one on another day, so please stay tuned, or I may not record it, I may just do it and then we can see the final image. But I hope that's given you an idea of how Copics can work and what a great pen they are. So thank you very much again. If you like, feel free to hit a like. If you like even more, feel free to follow me. You're all welcome. If I could give you all cookies, I would. So till next time, wishing you all the best and happy drawing.